You've just watched a group of musicians playing jazz. Jazz. It's a word you're probably familiar with, and it has a lot of different meanings. It can be anything from full-length orchestrations to electronic space music or solo voice performances. It's even an idea that's part of our daily lives. You can walk jazz. You can talk jazz. There's even a computer program called jazz. But what is jazz? My name is Randy Sabien, and I'm a professional jazz musician. In this program, I'd like to show you what jazz means to me. We'll learn what makes jazz different from other kinds of music. We'll play a bit of it, and I'm going to show you how to start playing jazz yourself. Jazz is music, and therefore has the same elements found in all music. There are melodies, rhythms, introductions, endings, key signatures, time signatures. It can be played soft or loud, fast or slow. And jazz musicians express the same wide range of emotions as any artist. Playing jazz, in general, is similar to performing any music. There is a framework of written elements for each piece that creates its basic structure, given to us by the composer. There will be a written melody, and that melody fits into a sequence of chords. Underneath the melody and chords, there is a beat, and the tune is played at a certain tempo or speed. Of course, in order to play the piece properly, the players have to get together, rehearse, and work out an arrangement. But there are some elements in jazz that make it very different from other forms of music. The unique and most important thing about jazz is that much of it is improvised. Improvising is something we do every day. To improvise simply means to make things up as you go along. When a jazz musician improvises, it's a lot like playing football. You follow the rules of the game, and each member of the team has an assigned role. But there's a lot of freedom, and you never know exactly what's going to happen. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Improvisation, the element of surprise. That's what makes jazz so much fun to listen to and to play. Another part of jazz that sets it apart from other kinds of music is that it has a special rhythmic pulse or beat to it. It's called swing. Swing is so important that Duke Ellington, a great jazz composer, wrote a tune called "It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing." It's kind of hard to define swing with words or even in exact musical terms, but I can play it for you on my violin and you'll be able to hear and feel the difference. Here's a tune that you normally don't think of as a jazz tune. I think you'll recognize it. Now add some swing to it and pay attention to how different it feels. You ready? Here we go. Quite a difference, right? Try it sometime on a song you know. So with improvisation and swing, you've got the basic elements that make jazz unique. But how do you play jazz? When I play the violin with my band, I am the lead player, or soloist. Saxophone and trumpet are common lead instruments in a jazz group. But whatever instrument you play, when you are the lead soloist, you have two jobs. First, you play the composer's written melody. Second, you add to that your own musical ideas and personality. In other words, you improvise. But when you improvise, there are two main ingredients to be aware of: rhythm and melody. Let's start with rhythm. A rhythm is a pulse or a beat. Your heartbeat is a rhythm. When you clap your hands, you're playing a rhythm. You can play a rhythm on anything, like this. A melody is a series of notes, like this. When you improvise rhythms and melodies together over a swing beat, you're playing jazz. I have a couple of friends to show you how this works on some instruments. I'm going to play a rhythm using just one note, and then I want you to play that rhythm right back to me. And we're going to use this note. Let's hear it. Good. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, can anybody improvise their own rhythm for me? Okay, Jenny? Good. Now, Mark? Okay, let's branch out from there and start improvising some melodies. We're only going to use 3 notes. Here's what they are. I'll play a melody, and you play it back to me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. But there's more to soloing than just improvising one little rhythm or melody. Sometimes a solo can last for several minutes, and that would involve playing lots of different ideas. It's a lot like having a conversation. When you tell your friends a story, you say something, then you pause, take a breath, say something else, maybe even repeat yourself. Your story will be made up of many short statements. And when you improvise music, you'll be speaking in musical sentences or phrases. You play a little bit, then pause. Play something else, another pause. In jazz, you have the freedom to express your own ideas and feelings in musical terms. I'll show you what I mean. I'll start playing melodies using the same 3 notes that we've been working with, but I'll go on and play some longer ideas. Now, can anybody try improvising a longer solo for us? How about Laura? Okay, Todd, can you try improvising a longer solo for us? I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, go. Good. Good, thanks. Okay, rehearsal's over, and I'll see you next week. Now that's how you can begin improvising. You start easy with simple rhythms on one note, then branch out slowly to one or two other notes to make melodies. It can be very simple at first, but as you improve, you'll find that it becomes more challenging and interesting. But there's more to jazz than just the lead player improvising. That accompanies a jazz soloist is called the rhythm section. It's the heart of the improvising group. The rhythm section provides a foundation for the lead player to improvise over, but also feeds the soloist new ideas. When everyone is really communicating, the group becomes one voice. Each person in the rhythm section has a particular job to do. Let's start with the drums. I know you've all seen the drummer going wild, hitting all the cymbals, playing loud and fast. But underneath all that, something very simple is happening. The drummer has two basic responsibilities. First of all, the drummer will play the hi-hat cymbal on beats 2 and 4. And those are the beats where you naturally want to tap your foot or snap your fingers. If you count to 4 over and over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the hi-hat will open on 1 and 3 and close on 2 and 4. Now try counting along and snapping your fingers or clapping your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. While the drummer's keeping the beat on 2 and 4 with the hi-hat, he'll play a steady beat on the ride cymbal over here. Now the rest of the drum kit is only there to provide extra accents and color tones. Now that's the essence of jazz drumming. The bass player also has two responsibilities. First, he lays down a steady beat along with the drums. Why don't you start with an open string here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now pull the string a little bit harder on beats 2 and 4 so that you match the hi-hat. And after a steady beat has been established, the bass player, using his left hand, will outline the chord progression. I'll tell you what a chord progression is in a minute. For now, just watch what the left hand is doing. That's called the walking bass line, because it looks like the left hand is walking up and down the neck of the bass. The bass and drums are the foundation of the rhythm section. They lay down the beat. The piano, however, does something quite different. The piano plays chords. A chord is 3 or more notes played together, like this. Or it can have many notes and sound very complicated, like this. Every song has a certain set of chords that sounds right with the tune. Some songs have only one chord, others have 3 or 4, and some have many chords and are very complicated. Whatever type of piece it is, the chords will come in a certain order and change at a certain time. That's called the chord progression. At the end, it starts over. Like a wheel, it keeps coming around and around. As the chords are played, the piano player improvises rhythms on the chords, floating over what the bass and drums are doing, not playing a steady beat, but popping a chord when it feels right. That's called comping. Now let's see how it all fits together. Listen to the drummer as he lays down the beat on the hi-hat on beats 2 and 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now he'll play a steady beat on the ride cymbal. And then the bass comes in, playing a steady beat and outlining the chord progression with the walking bass line. And the piano player comps the chord progression. Listen to the relationship of the bass with the piano. The bass player is laying down a steady beat, while the piano player is just sort of popping a chord occasionally. Now we'll add the lead players playing the melody and improvising over the rhythm section. So there it is, the basic jazz band. Now you can change the instrumentation if you like. You can leave out 1 or 2, you can add 50. Now I'd like to play one more tune with my own group. And while you're listening and watching, remember the things we've talked about in this program. There will be a framework decided upon in advance by the composer. And that will include a melody, chord progression, a beat, and a tempo. After that, the musicians express their own moods and ideas by improvising. Generally, jazz tunes have a swing feel or beat to them, and you'll feel like tapping your foot and moving around. Remember the jobs of the rhythm section. Watch the drummer while he plays the hi-hat on beat 2 and 4 and keeps a steady pulse on the ride cymbal. The bass player will be keeping a steady beat along with the drums, but also playing notes with the left hand that outline the chord progression. That's called the walking bass line. The piano player sort of floats over the bass and drums by comping chords in the progression as they circle round and round. And the lead player interprets the melody and improvises musical sentences by combining melodies and rhythms. All these elements combined make jazz what it is.